Right. So, welcome to episode 4 of Cracked. I was able to connect with Zelena Khan. She is director of ContentLabs at TransPerfect, a global translation tech company based out of New York. So, we're both NYU grads. We both we got into NYU through the same program, both through higher education. She's Guyanese and she's super interesting. But what's really unique and why I wanted to interview her this week is that she's been at TransPerfect for 13 years, and anyone who has been in marketing knows that that is very, very, very rare to be at the same company from its inception. She's been able to grow her own department. She created a department from scratch. She's somebody that works in what they call special projects, which is essentially anything. Her boss saw potential in her, and she was able to build her own team from the ground up. So this week, I really wanted to tap into her leadership style because I've been thinking a lot about leadership. We're both millennials and we both have very similar approaches to building teams. So this week, we get into a lot of topics. She talks to us about how she is a first generation college grad and how she really wants to give back to the community, how she really sees as an opportunity to look for new talent. She talks to me about how she actually has collaboration be her kind of tentpole value in terms of how she looks at her team. So it's a very, very interesting conversation. We did our best to cut it down to an hour, but we spoke for about 2 hours. So we did our best. But yeah, listen and welcome to Cracked.
A chameleon
Yeah.
when it comes to management, similar to business, right? My mentor, CEO, he saw me for who I was and he communicated with me accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a place of feeling safe. It was a place of feeling respected. And it was just a place of belonging. And I think when you encourage people to bring their full selves to work, quite often, if you're doing creative for a full-time role and you're not a starving artist, it's quite often that you're pursuing something on the side, one way or another. And I genuinely care about the people that are working with me. And I like to say they work with me, not for me. I want to be as flat as possible. I want everyone to grow. I want everyone to have an opportunity to pitch and contribute something, but also making it very clear to them, you are responsible for your own career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the path you want. This is the focus you have. Now go be proactive. Now go own it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the guidance I had when I was coming up in my mid-20s and I started working here. My boss would give me books. And I remember one time I was making a little bit of noise about one of the company policies with social media. And I was being a little nosy. Oh, this new product was getting developed. Oh my God, we should do this video. We should make it a thing. And I'm pretty sure they're like, what is this loud brown girl doing? What is she saying? And I was like, if the video costs $15,000, I'll use internal resources. I'll buy some people lunch and we'll get it done for $5. And it was a very silly video, but that silly video that a VP let me produce started a career where other people wanted to work with me and say, hey, we're doing this. Can you help figure out this video? We're doing this. Can you help us figure out the messaging? And that started setting my own personal brand within that company. So similar with my team, I'm like, if you see something and you think it's not right, or you think it could be done in a better way, you tell me. Like, tell me, like, show me, teach me. So I think if you go in with that perspective of, I don't know the best. I don't know the quickest. I don't know the fastest. I don't know the smartest. But if you tell me something better, I'm happy to change the structure. I'm happy to listen to any and everybody's idea. And I even interns, when we used to bring interns in, same thing. I'm like, what are you learning in school right now? What's relevant?
Yeah. No,
What are the kids saying?
Interns are such an asset if you use them like properly.
Yeah.
There's and I said this on a previous podcast where it's like we'll have a bunch of people sitting around in a room and we're all 30 plus 40 years old and we're trying to think of an idea of how to connect with like Gen Z. Like why would we not actually talk to the demographic? And you don't realize your I'm sure you have a summer intern program or something like similar to what we have. But like we usually are the last 2 years, I've actually given my interns real work, like for real client work, like actually reply to this brief, and we have used some of their creative ideas like in execution, not in its entirety, but they've come up with some really good ideas. They just have a different way of thinking, I feel like, and if you use them for what they are, they could be a real asset.
I mean, Leos are born leaders. Hello.
This is our year. I don't know how many more fucking posts I can read about.
Come on, fire horse.
Like, come on.
I'm ready.
I cannot
I'm ready. The last few years kind of smacked me up a little bit. I'm ready. But yeah, I when, some of the people on my team, most people on my team have actually been here for 5 years plus.
That's great.
And it's great retention. And that's because I see them, right? Quite often, even in branding, right? The company wants you to see me, look at me. But you really have to look the other way around and see the people that are working with you and how everybody's balancing each other out. And everyone is super diverse too, which is something that I'm really proud of. And I think an interesting part about when I think about some of the people on my team that have been here 5 years, they did start as interns, and my team was definitely different back then, right? And they grew with me. Some of them are very good account managers and some on their way to being art directors and pitching very good concepts, right? And I mean, we learned together. I would like to say we grew up together in that sense. And I think what I did was I made them feel safe, and they felt safe. They felt respected around me. And with creatives, we are delicate beings. We feel everything. And I'd be remiss not to talk about the state of the world, right? These last couple of years. And it's been a roller coaster. So creating a space and a two-way communication where, hey, like, let me know what's going on. If something's going on with you outside of work, I'm not expecting anyone to act like things are normal, expecting anyone to act like it's a sunny day. Talk to me and let me help pivot, right? So now I can look at your performance, or maybe, hey, maybe you should work on this. Hey, maybe you should work on that, right? Or let's reallocate responsibilities so people can just do their thing and still produce and come and feel their best. And I think sometimes even like the world could be ending, but because they feel that way, they want to show up and they want to perform.
Yeah. That's so how do I word this? Because it's like, I struggle with this, not struggle, but like it is something that weighs on me where it's like, it is such a fucked up time. Like it is, it really, and it would be, I don't know anybody that has not been affected in some way with just the chaos that has been, yes, since COVID, it's been insane. But obviously in the last couple of months, it's been, I feel like, way more toxic, especially if you work in marketing or social media and all types of things. Like you cannot escape it. Like, do you feel the impact on your teams?
Yes, it's absolutely draining. And I'm thankful when people say, hey, you know what? I'm just not feeling my best, or hey, I need a mental health day. And I'm also grateful because we've set up an organization where people do have a little bit of leeway, right? Because we are an agency operating within a larger organization that, okay, you know what, you can go work on this, or hey, you know what, we can go ahead. Why don't you just take the day? And we're padding timelines. So we have multiple people on multiple projects to build a little bit of a safety net. But yes, absolutely. Everyone is drained. And then knowing that you have to keep up with the times of what's going on. I'm like, I don't want to go on social media. I only recently started posting these management tips because I knew I was sitting on a lot of good content. Why not? Why the hell not? But I think what's interesting about any management tip that I'm doing, no, I mean, the interesting part about these management tips is that I'm writing them myself. Now you got to say, oh, I wrote it myself. AI didn't do it for me, but I'm writing them, but because they're really coming from a place of themes that I'm noticing. And I've been talking my shit for years. And my team would be like, let me just record you saying this, or oh, I'm gonna write that down, or oh, you were preaching today. And I was like, damn, you know what? I need to start executing some of that. Like, we're always the
Start
last people to
marketing
do.
them. We all
So I
need.
realized that when you feel like you're
Yeah.
getting sucked into bad content
Yeah.
or content that's draining you, you should just create your own.
That's a great.
Even if it's just some silly shit.
I know. I was saying I saw it. I saw a TikTok. I said we need more whimsy. We do. We need more whimsy. I want you to be a whimsical bitch.
We need whimsy. We need comfort. You know, I recently went to an event hosted by Society 18, and they manage Black and Brown content creators. There was one Guyanese girl, and I was like, yeah, I know you. I know you. And she was doing such great content just as a Guyanese person, but just like as a woman. And it was comfort content. I said, you better keep it up, girl. You better keep it up. Because in a world where people are performative and being fake and doing things for clickbait, you just need good people. Like, you just need good people in this world. And that ties back into management, right? Like,
Yeah.
be the manager you wish you had.
Yeah.
When you were coming up.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I try. It's like being a leader is hard, especially when you're not. I think we're natural leaders, but I don't think that I love being in a leadership role because I don't like to separate myself from the people. Like, I rather be side by side versus like on the top of a tower, kind of like barking orders. Obviously, we have to do that sometimes because we have our own bosses, and you do sometimes have to posture like that. But
You got goals, right? You have
I have my own. Like, I have a top of my own mountain that I'm setting for myself. So it's also like that. That is something that is hard to juggle when you have your own aspirations. And not everybody's aspiration is to lead a team too. That's also not what everybody wants to do. Some people are independent contributors. That's fine. And I think I live somewhere in between where it's like my personal output is still important to me, but I also am visible for the people that I manage because it takes nothing. I always look at it like this way. It takes nothing off of my plate to have my people succeed. It's not like it takes any money out of my paycheck. It only makes me look better when my team is successful. So, and I think that a lot of people do not approach it that way. They feel like to be a leader is you kind of have to control and suppress and keep them in their box, where it's like, no, thrive. You thriving makes me look like I'm doing something right. No.
Well, because then you get to move up, right? Then you get to focus on high value tasks. Make yourself replaceable. When you can replace yourself, that leaves room for the next level, right? Like,
well, that's the opposite that people say, right? They say make yourself irreplaceable.
No, I don't agree. But I also feel very confident and very comfortable about what I bring to a company.
Well, yeah, maybe you're probably not as insecure as a lot of people feel. And listen, rightfully so. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Like, it's this shit is not for everybody. I get it, especially in marketing and advertising. Like, it is not for the fucking weak. It's really not. But yeah, you've always had kind of a good attitude though. Like, you're not really.
Why? You know why?
Why?
When you become a person that people want to work with, that is like secret weapon shit. Right?
Yeah.
We are all replaceable when it comes to the day-to-day tasks that we can get done. Everybody is replaceable, right?
Yeah.
It might be might take a little longer.
Some may be a little harder than others, but yeah,
right. But we are, right? I mean, if either one of us drop down dead, God forbid, tomorrow or as soon as we stop recording this podcast, the world would go on, the company would go on.
Yeah.
So, but what I find and what I think has been big part of what I attribute my career to is being someone that is collaborative and someone that people want to work with.
Yeah.
And also someone who can handle feedback and will give feedback in a very constructing way. That can handle feedback and give feedback in a very constructive way.
Yeah.
Because telling me I suck isn't going to help anything. Telling me this design is horrible doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
how can you make it a teachable moment? How can you, I mean, not everybody has an eye either, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But maybe you'll just do a different task. Maybe you'll account manage instead, right? Maybe you won't be doing creative direction. And also, yes, people, not everybody is supposed to manage, right? And that's good. Like I don't think I don't think art directors necessarily should have direct reports because I think they should be absorbing what's going on. They should be getting better at their craft, things like that, which is why I do have creatives technically still reporting to me, right? Because I want all my creatives to be client facing because it's the creatives that are also selling now.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
sometimes we're finding I've had certain clients based in Europe that only want to work directly with the creatives and not through the PM or the account manager.
Well, that's interesting. We recently removed our PM layer and now account strategy and creative. There's no, because essentially project management was the buffer between everybody else and creative. Like that's, they really, at least in my situation, they manage most of that communication with the
Yeah,
creative.
the end to end, making sure everything is delivered on time, when it needs to be done, in the formats it needs to be done. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and the removing of that is in the essence of having the creatives and the rest of the team just have more dialogue and have more of the opportunity to negotiate timelines or things that they need to be successful. Now, I understand the need of project managers. It is different because especially it depends on the complexity of the project. And I find I would imagine that your projects are pretty complex just based off of all the layers and stuff.
Yeah, it could be anything. We can take on super simple projects and very complicated ones. But yes, what I've started to realize for bigger campaigns, we'll have especially if it's, we're doing some multicultural marketing campaigns where it's one campaign, it's kind of like a 3 for 1 where we're targeting 3 separate audiences, but
Mhm.
under one project scope. And I need a creative project manager, but we also need our own account manager. And
Yeah.
then within the digital campaign itself, because we have paid and SEO also working on it, then they also have their own account manager. And I think
Oh, wow.
that's why certain clients love working with us because we're thinking of everything for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's less of a project manager and it's really like an account manager.
Yeah, yeah, you have somebody really managing the business at that point. But no, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I project managers, I don't know. Jury's out on my opinion of that. It's an important skill, but I do think that the best account managers should have a project management level of managing their work, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to have an understanding of timelines and how long things should take and what is reasonable and what's not. I mean, you're the closest to the client, so you have more you always have the most information. I find that
Yeah.
account because they're on the front lines. And sometimes when the creative is 8 layers back, because then it goes to the account goes to strategy goes to this, the work suffers
Too
because
many
there's so
layers.
yeah.
Too many layers. You have to be lean. You have to be able to pivot. Yeah, most definitely. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, since we're talking about project managers. So
Yeah.
I got an MBA, so I never did a PMP or anything like that. What are your thoughts on that now? Some people were asking me about MBAs recently as well, but what are your thoughts on the PMP?
I took PMP certification years ago.
Yeah.
And wow, that's so crazy. I haven't thought about that in so long. Yeah, I mean, I did take that certification back in the day when it was something that felt like it was necessary for my job. Do I feel that way anymore? No, I think it's really specific to what you work on because I've realized that project management is just not the same for someone that works in traditional broadcast versus someone
Yeah.
that's working in social media. So I don't think it's a one to one, but I do think people should take trainings on, and I'm talking more like hard skills, like learn how to make a Gantt chart, learn how to make a work back schedule, learn how to figure out what those milestones are and figure out how to book those meetings so you stay on top of your tasks. Like it's more those things that I'm realizing as we kind of remove that layer that not everybody on my team has, and in their defense is because they haven't had to. But I do think that people need more understanding or even just a training in the tools that can help facilitate that. At this point, there's 50 different platforms that can help with that type of scheduling and work back calendars, all type. There's Monday, there's Basecamp, there's freaking Asana. Like there's so many platforms, smart sheets, but no one is really proficient in them anymore.
We're using
It's
Notion.
yeah. There's just no, I feel like it's almost like a dying art, like traditional PMs that
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
Excel.
That's yeah. When you said it, I kind of started like you're eliminating PMs. I'm kind of changing roles for
Yeah.
people to be less considered a PM. Um, I mean, when I think about you know an MBA, right? At the time I did it because I knew the type of room I wanted to sit in. I knew the type of people that I wanted to speak to. Also being first generation college student, I knew that's what I needed for my network. And it worked out, right? Because people
I
look at you a
guarantee
little different.
that's why you're, I guarantee you that's why you're able to move across different
Yeah,
execution.
it is a
Because it allows you to
multidisciplinary, yeah.
yeah, like you have a general understanding of the steps to complete a
I
project.
also knew I wanted to be in leadership, right? In my mind, I was going to be a CMO, CEO. Huh? I was everywhere. I was everywhere. I was in
You
student
were very
council in high
different. I
school.
did none of that.
I was in student council in high school.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to fight the power at an all girls Catholic school. Okay. I was just trying to get pants.
Yeah,
I was just
I
trying to
know.
petition for some pants.
We were both in the same program. Wait, were we in the same program?
No,
Yeah, step.
no, I was in Steinhardt
Oh, okay,
and you were in Gallatin.
okay.
And what I
No, I was in
did while I
College
was
of
in
Arts
Stein,
and Sciences. I was in College of Arts and Sciences. I'm saying, weren't we
oh,
both in the same higher education?
C-step.
C-step. Weren't we both in
Yeah.
that? Okay, that's where all the
Yeah.
brown girls came from at NYU.
Yeah, some of them, most of us for sure. I mean, it was a great program, right? Because it definitely helped set a little bit of a foundation. But when I think about the program of study and being in certain classes, like
Yeah.
I originally, like, did you know what you were going to school for? I originally went to NYU because I wanted to do broadcast.
I went to NYU to be a doctor. I went in as pre-med.
I was
Like,
supposed to be
what?
pre-med, and I realized quickly I am soft like Jello.
I realized that I had to take like 8 orgo chem classes, and I was like, forget this. I'm
No, do you
never
remember people crying when they left their classes? People would take a test and
grim.
leave
Grim.
like Gen Chem crying. I was like, oh no.
Goodbye. Impossible. Well, I also had to take classes. We had to take extra classes, right, in the summer leading into freshman year.
Yeah, like no credit classes.
Yeah,
But I
and
didn't
then
meet you actually until our grad
I know,
alley.
I know.
It
Can
was
you believe
Tanisha
that?
Thomas.
I
And
didn't
then
know you during the actual time in school, but we went.
we're,
We had
we're,
we
we're
hung
not
out.
college friends. We just met the
Went
last
to the same college. Yeah,
yeah.
but we had mutual friends though.
We had a lot of mutual friends that said that we should meet. We were basically arranged.
And we're both the same. Where we're like, we are too busy. We were too busy to meet each other. And then I realized we're the same person. Yeah, that's very
Well, our
true.
birthday is what, 5 days apart? Or 5?
I'm August 7th. What are you?
Yeah, I'm the 3rd. 4
Yeah,
days apart.
yeah. We're the same.
88. What a great year.
It really is. I really feel like we're peaking.
Oh, I haven't peaked yet.
What? And I feel like we're in looks wise for sure. I'm talking physically.
I am just looking better with each day. Also,
Well,
we
I
don't
don't
drink too.
both
We're
times.
not like regular drinkers. So
Yeah, not drinking changed everything, I think, for me. But
I
then
mean,
also
alcohol is a whole carcinogen. Like,
it is. And I
yeah,
got Botox. Can you tell?
I never got Botox.
I got it for the first time a week ago. I feel like it hasn't firmed up yet, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could use the 11s for sure, but I don't really move my forehead.
No,
So
you look like you're 24. You definitely don't need it. I just wanted to do it just to see what it was. Well,
I really want to. I actually, I heard it can be preventative, and yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for my forehead to not.
but I feel like this is the year of the millennial. I've been reading a lot about
We
it.
are doing great.
We really
are
are.
doing
And now we're
great.
back in style. I think Gen Z was driving for a bit, and everyone was like, "Listen, it's time for us to come back."
So I have a good chunk of my team that are of the Gen Z, and
As
they
do
are
I.
just so adult.
They're adult.
They're very adult.
Then you're blessed. Then you're blessed. Then you have a good crop. You do. I would say, well, that's not actually true. Like my team is actually probably majority Gen
They're
is
healthy. They are.
did you say your team was millennial or Gen Z?
A mix of both.
Okay, same. Gen Z I find to be very difficult to manage. That is, and I'll say it here on record. I think that they, and this is not even, I can't even blame them for it because I feel like it is the right way to be, but Gen Z really has a diverse understanding of where they need to make money. Like they don't have the same type of career goals that we have been pounded in, especially you're saying I'm first
Yeah.
generation college, I'm going to have a career, I'm going to be in leadership. Like that's not how they think. They think like
I think their hierarchy of needs are a little different for
Definitely.
sure.
Definitely.
And the way they prioritize certain things. And I've taken an opportunity to learn from it for sure.
Yeah. You can
and
learn from their freedom. I feel like they have this freedom that I don't think I ever thought or even channeled. Like I always wanted stable paycheck, like be able to live a certain lifestyle and whatever grind I needed to do to get there, that's what I needed to do. To them, that's not what they're worried about. They want to know their work-life balance. They want to know when they're getting summer Fridays, do not call them. Like they have their boundaries set, and for better or for worse, that is very hard in marketing and advertising. Sometimes those boundaries get a little, sometimes you have to work after hours. Sometimes you have to work on
yeah, a creative work day when you have a deadline that's 7:30, and
7:30.
you have to
It's
get the job
7:29.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard. I don't know. It's
I mean,
Gen Z.
and there's also just like a very real truth that you risk losing a client if something gets messed up. And sometimes if you lose a big client, people may have to go as a result of losing a client because now we can't pay you. And that's like a very traditional agency thing, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've been able to avoid that as well, right? Because I do internal and external work. But when I think about margins, when I think about revenue and the goals that we have for this year, I've definitely
Mhm.
had to apply myself a little bit more as a manager and be a little bit more direct and also teach amongst each other to be direct with each other. Like, hey, explain to me why this looks like this, or explain to me your rationale because I don't think this is your best work.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I want to know what happened here because you're usually rocking and now this thing is not given what it needs to give. Do you think that even if you're doing the most boring design job for the weirdest client, or do you think you need to give it the same amount of effort because everything is a reflection of your brand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is a reflection of your brand, whether you are, I mean, what is the saying, right? Like, I mean, you're not, what was the quote from JFK, right? Like you're not mopping the floor, you're helping send a man to the moon, right? Everybody's a part of this collective. Right? That's the saying.
Is it? Oh shit. I have to look it up.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
but that's the whole thing about establishing good habits. And my CEO at our internal conferences, he's been doing a version of the same management training for many years. And I've been to almost every conference my company has. And every single time I sit in that training, and I've also worked on his executive brand as well, I gain something new. It's like reading the same book at different phases of your life. I'm like,
I know.
ah,
I need to read The
it
Secret. I
hits
feel
different every single time.
yeah, that's
So,
very
yeah, build good habits. Do a good job always. Well, show up every time. And if you can't show up, say something to somebody. If you really feel like you're having a rough day, say something to somebody before you submit garbage.
Yeah. I feel like it's also knowing that different people respond or are motivated by different things. Like there's some
Yeah.
people that I manage that are motivated by work-life balance. There's other people that are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by title. Some people are
Or
motivated by
travel,
visibility.
like work
Like
travel
yeah,
too.
travel, being able to do that. Like so to me, a lot of the times when I'm managing a team, most of my time is just learning about Like, I'm not even, because I make a joke, but it's not really a joke. But when I interview people, I'm not the first person that's interviewing them. It's gone through 5 different people. If it's coming up to a VP level, at this point, you've been vetted. Essentially, I'm pretty confident that you have at least the skills on your resume to do the job. I'm more at the point where it's like, can we have that
Is this a
cultural?
fit? Is this a
Yes, if
culture
it's a
fit?
fit.
What is the work ethic looking like? Are you
Yeah.
going to be frazzled easy? Can you think on your feet?
Yes. Like,
Um,
it's more of me not studying people, but seeing, like, are we a good fit from a management level? Like, will I be able to manage you in a way that you feel you're getting the most out of the job? And sometimes I can tell in an interview, it's like, I don't think we would be a good match. I think that this person would be either hard to manage or would be disappointed by what I'd be able to offer them in the role. Like, there's things like that that I think you only learn from just having more exposure to those processes. And probably in the last year, I've gotten more comfortable in my just intuition about people.
yeah,
But once you figure out what motivates them, you're a great manager. You're a great manager.
yeah, I think as a manager, you have to trust your instinct, but also be aware of any unconscious biases or unfair biases that you might have. So it's like let
Yeah.
me take a beat, let me take a second. And I think too, when it comes to giving feedback, right?
Yeah.
You be like saying, hey, I'm giving you this feedback, not from any malicious intention, but because I want you to do better. I want us as a team, as a collective to do better. And also me understanding when people are not performing, I'm not going to automatically think they're lazy because
Yeah.
sometimes that's a very old school,
Old school.
ignorant thought process. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, maybe if I gave a directive, maybe I wasn't specific. Maybe I didn't set an expectation.
Now,
Mm,
especially now, you can't think that because there's so many, like, take your pick of what could be bothering somebody today. Like,
and that's where we're
it's
glowing.
from global warming to, learning about an international global pedophile ring. Like, I pick there and everything in between. Like, some people just don't have the capacity to be their best selves right
It's
now.
trigger warning central in the world. Like you can be triggered by any and everything. And I think it all comes down to that safe space, right? And whether it's like, hey, I'm having a tough day, or hey, this job might not be working out for me. Okay, well, let's figure it out together.
Yeah. Oh
Let's
yeah.
figure it out together.
Yeah. I very seldom, like, it takes a lot for me to ever think that I need to recast a role. I that is like that is last case scenario. Like, I rather figure out, like, how can we mold this role? Even maybe this department isn't right. Maybe you are more akin to
Exactly.
creative or whatever. I don't know. Because, like, I get account management is not for everybody, but yeah, I very, especially in this economy, like, you have to have empathy too. Like, to be a good, like, you have to approach people like, talk to me like a real person. So there's been too many times where I've had conversations with people that are trying to manage me, and I'm like, are you in the same reality as me? Because if you're not, then we're not even starting from the same baseline understanding, right? Like, I try to just be the same person, during work, after work, and in between.
It's the same human being.
You're definitely the same type of person. Like, I can't even see you even now on a
I'm
podcast.
I'm bringing my full self. Because I've spent too much time trying to dim my light. I've spent too much time trying to fit a mold. Too much time just trying to be somebody else, and I've realized I'm pretty awesome.
And have you had to brown girl to brown girl about code switching? Have you felt like you've had to do that?
Yeah, I've definitely. I mean, even now, right? I code switch a certain amount of times, right? Because I'm a Guyanese girl who, like, first born in America. Depending on who I'm around, you wouldn't even think I'm American. And I think the interesting part about working in a language company
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
I didn't really feel connected to the language side of the business, as I mentioned to you,
Hmm.
until I worked on a docu-series for a client talking about endangered languages. And I got to go to a Cherokee reservation and I listened to a Cherokee chief talk about specifically the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. And I got to speak to the chief and listen to him talk about colonialism and how people lost their language. And I was like, we lost our language too. I like thinking about how much, from India to Guyana and then Guyana to the US, right? How much we just had to just assimilate to be considered intelligent and to make it. So yes, I do code switch, but also when I'm doing certain pitches in relation to certain topics, I will bring myself out. I will bring a personality out because nobody wants, like, vanilla is not necessarily the flavor of the season, right? Like, give me a little pistachio, a little butter pecan, give some flavor.
Salted caramel. Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't care. I'm whether it helps or it doesn't. I think like first of all, there's no way of us even trying to suppress who we are. Like we can try it, but it comes out eventually. Like even in this podcast, I'm sure like as we've gotten more comfortable, it's like, I can't suppress it anyway. So like, what's the point? But also like, that's what makes us unique though. Like, I think that's what makes us.
I put in a lot of years to talk a little shit, right?
You earned it. We earned it.
Yeah, and like I said, I was also in a place where my boss helped create a space for me to bring my personality. And he also knew that, hey, she's funny, but also she's going to show up and she's going to do the right thing and pull through for any client or any event or any interaction we're going to be having. And be that chameleon, right? But I'm not necessarily talking to my colleagues the same way I talk to my mom.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Yeah.
But but I do think it's the approach. As long as your approach is authentic and not manufactured, whether it comes out with like the way you speak to your mom or how you speak to your doctor or something, like it's still, I think that people can pick up now. At least I can. Yeah. I can very much pick up on when people are bullshitting me. Like nobody got time for that at this point, but yeah. All right. Well, we did a full hour. We did over an hour. See, it goes by fast, right?
I mean, the girls can yap.
Really can. I mean, I was so interested. I'm like, this is the most I've ever heard you talk about your job.
I know, because we be talking other shit.
Well, I hope your boss does see this because you said nothing but good things about him.
I mean, I've when I did I think my team did a social media post on my LinkedIn when I hit, I think, my 10-year mark. And I think I kind of said the same thing. I stumbled into TransPerfect and Phil made that way for me. And I mean, also like meeting people like Bazoma St. John, right? Which basically she's a fabulous. Huh?
When did you meet her?
I was at the Girls Who Code gala because my CEO was also on the board. No lie. Since working in music, I was never really starstruck when I worked in music, ever. I mean, I met The Rock when I was 11 and that was it. Everything is downhill from there. But
so specific.
Yeah, I met The Rock when I was 11 and that was it. Downhill. So I was at the gala and our table was next to a table with Ariana Huffington and Bazoma St. John. And I was just like, oh my God, I gotta go up to her. And I went up to her and I interrupted her. I got between her and Ariana Huffington. I was like, Ariana, I love you, girl. Bazoma, I gotta talk to you though. You made me feel comfortable to be fabulous in corporate America. You talked about what it was like to be a fashionable person, not be so cookie cutter, not look stuck up and stuffy, and talk marketing and talk about my full self and talk about my background and why that made me such a great professional. And I took a picture with her. I didn't like it. Send me the picture. I will. I didn't like it. And then I was like, oh, I got to go back to her because I got to post this. I got to go post this. I went back and I was like, Bazoma, girl, I don't like this picture. I don't look good. And you know I got to post this. She goes, girl, come on, let's take another one. And I was like, that's the type of person I want to be. Like that is the energy I want to bring to everybody. So
send me that picture.
I'm gonna send you a
I
picture.
want to put it on the screen. Yeah, you know what? She's like, and in the way that she's, well, now we've deviated, but not really, because she really is like, to put a bow on this conversation, she really is kind of where we want to be, but she's made marketing kind of like a sexy job again, like especially with her being on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and just totally obliterating that other girl that has her, you know, whatever her kind of manifesting business. She's really, I don't know, she's made me kind of be like, see, like marketing is like, you can really ascend in marketing if you know how to get in the right rooms and know how to do what you do.
Marketing makes businesses go round.
Yeah. It makes you want to buy stuff.
We're the foot
Living
on the pedal. We're the foot on the pedal, right? Like
Yeah.
that's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard because when you feel like, how do you measure? How do you do this? How do you know, like explaining brand affinity to people? They're like, well, brand affinity doesn't necessarily, I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, that's probably another episode, but I love talking about brand affinity and phantom followers and phantom engagement and things like that, because no, baby, it's not the likes anymore. It's not the comments anymore. We
not
know
the likes,
that.
not the comments, definitely not the followers. It means nothing at this point. But
Amen, girl.
it's influence, I think, and influence is really hard to measure, but she's done a really good job of kind of demystifying it. And yeah, like also like, yeah, exactly. Like she's made marketing like, what's sexier than saying I helped do the Super Bowl? Like Netflix, like her resume don't lie. Like her pedigree is insane. So hats off. Send me the picture. I'm gonna superimpose it on this video. Maybe she'll be on. Maybe we can interview her.
Thanks
I bet you she would. I bet you she would though. She's a real one.
I love yapping with you. So
yeah, this was so fun. I can't wait to have you on more.
Whenever. Yes. I'm happy. I'm happy. You give me a topic. I will do my homework and watch whatever it is you want me to watch. I mean, look at the conversation we had about, what is it, Handmaid? Wait,
more Handmaid's Tale?
No, sorry. What was it?
Which one?
The movie we watched.
Oh my God, what movie? The Housemaid? Yeah, someone else was just talking about that today.
We had shit to say.
I have to say though, you are a talker during movies. You are a talker.
You caused me. You gave me the hit of the thing.